Hello, Sister Nya here, and today we are doing the unboxing of the Africell 4G LTE CPE router. Have you gotten yours yet? Here it is. All right, now let's do the unboxing of the Africell 4G CPE router.
Hello and welcome. It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and this is the Gambia Radio and Television Services, and we are broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Our top stories this hour: the Gambia leader, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, meets the ambassador of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Ma Jianchun, at the State House in Banjul. The Vice President, His Excellency Aliou Badara Diouf, grants audience to the Secretary General of the Organization of Educational Cooperation, Mansour bin Musalam. Plus, the Gambia hosts the 3rd African Continental Conference on Curriculum Content Alignment. In sports, the 2022 Kafuta Sports Development Association League Finals ends in delight for Neman United as they clinched their first title in the history of the competition. And in the internationals front, France's new appointed Minister for Solidarity and the Disabled, Mr. Damien Abad, strongly denies he had raped 2 women following accusations published by the Mediapart website in the article based on interviews with the women. Well, viewers, those are the headlines and much more coming ahead with me, Marianne Jai Ajayi, and do stay with us. Well, we begin this bulletin with the presidency because His Excellency President Adama Barrow on Monday received in audience the ambassador of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Ma Jianchun, at the State House in Banjul. Alajimbai has the rest of that story.
His Excellency Ambassador Ma Jianchun was accompanied to State House by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Momodu Tangara. After a closed-door meeting with the President, Ambassador Ma told reporters that he was at the presidency to inform President Barrow of the end of his tour of duty to the Gambia.
My mission as the Chinese ambassador to the Gambia will come to end and the new Chinese ambassador will come shortly after. During my meeting with His Excellency President Barrow, we reviewed the development of the China-Gambia relations and the cooperations.
The Chinese diplomat hailed the cordial bilateral relationship between the two countries, citing several areas of cooperation between Banjul and Beijing.
Under the guidance of His Excellency President Xi Jinping and His Excellency President Barrow, we made a joint efforts to promote our cooperation in various fields and achieved yield fruitful outcomes. The political mutual trust between our two countries has been deepened.
He assured his country's commitment to the cooperation between the two countries that will be mutually beneficial to the people of the Gambia and the People's Republic of China.
Looking forward, I'm very confident for the relationship and friendship of our two countries. I'm confident that our relationship and the friendship will be promoted, and our cooperation will go further from strengthen to strengthen.
Ambassador Ma will be remembered for the realization of important bilateral projects in agriculture, health, and infrastructure, including the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center, completed during his term. Alhaji Mbai, GRTS News.
Meanwhile, the Vice President Ali Badara Diouf has granted audience to Mansour bin Musallam, the Secretary General of the Organization of Educational Cooperation. Musallam, who is in the country to lead discussions on the ongoing African Continental Curriculum Conference championed by the Ministry of Education, said he and team were at the presidency to discuss potential avenues of sustainable partnership. Well, here is an excerpt.
As part of my functions as Secretary General of the Organization of Educational Cooperation, which is an international intergovernmental organization bringing together countries of Latin America, Africa, the Arab world, and Asia, that is the first intergovernmental organization of the Greater South, we have come as well we have paid a courtesy visit and courtesy call visit to His Excellency, the Vice President, also in order to be able to discuss potential avenues of cooperation and collaboration, eventually perhaps the membership of the Republic of the Gambia in the Organization of Educational Cooperation, in that we share not only a same vision in terms of the importance of achieving balanced and inclusive education for all, but also in importance in a firm belief in the necessity and urgency of developing our countries with our own capacities. And that goes through South-South cooperation, African integration, and developing our own endogenous curricula. And therefore, we have discussed and evoked all these matters with the Vice President, who has received us with great generosity and has demonstrated a great understanding of these very complex issues that we discuss. To speak of education for the sake of education is useless. Nobody should care about education for the sake of education. Education is always for something. It needs to be for a vision of the future, a vision of our society, a vision of who we want to be as individuals and as society. And the Vice President has articulated a vision that we share completely in terms of the importance for the Republic of the Gambia, like the remaining member countries of our organization, a vision of developing the Gambia for its people, by its people. And we support that vision fully.
The Secretary General of the Organization of Educational Cooperation, Musalam talking to journalists shortly after a closed-door discussion with the Vice President of the Gambia. Now moving on, the Gambia is hosting the 3rd African Continental Curriculum Conference underway in Bijilo. The Gambian Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Claudiana Cole, officially opened the conference meant to share experiences and expertise on improving curriculum content alignment in the continent. Well, GRTS's Ibrahim Ajalo will update us later in the news. Now, the Office of the President in Banjul informs the public that His Excellency President Adama Barrow has declared Wednesday, 25th of May 2022, as a public holiday throughout the country in commemoration of the African Liberation Day. The release ends. Now, the First Lady of the Gambia, Madam Fatouba Barrow, has presided over the launch of a nationwide campaign on obstetric fistula. Now, the program under the United Nations Fund for Population Affairs, UNFPA, seeks to raise awareness on the disease. Now, here is an excerpt.
While obstetric fistula had been eradicated in all Western societies, its burden is still unacceptable, highly in this region, and the Gambia is no exception. In 2017, October, I joined 14 other First Ladies from ECOWAS in Niamey to affirm our collective resolve to eliminate fistula, FGM, early marriage, as well as gender, female and youth-based violence in West Africa. As a result, we urge our leaders and policymakers to allocate at least 3% of national annual budgets to the implementation of action plans linked to ending fistula, child protection, and eliminating the FGM as well as early marriages. Today, I wish to reaffirm my commitment to ending fistula in the Gambia by 2030. As there will be no UN Sustainable Development Goals without effective fistula control. In order to meet these goals, we have to succeed in eliminating fistula. One way to achieve this is to encourage open discussions on this topic, uncomfortably as it may be, but very important to help shed light on its causes and symptoms, which is necessary to put an end to the stigma and discrimination. This nationwide awareness campaign that we are proudly launching today in partnership with UNFPA will not only target women, but also their families, especially husbands, who are the key players in managing this condition within the family and the community at large. Studies have revealed that one of the contributing factors of fistula cases in the Gambia, including delay in accessing health care due to the decision-making power of women to go to health institutions during labor. Instead, this authority was found mostly to be in the hands of their husbands, 42%, and otherwise in mother-in-laws at 16%. This must be changed, and it is time for our societies to begin to universally see women as the keepers of their own bodies.
That was the First Lady of the Gambia, Madam Fatouba Barrow, addressing a gathering on the launch of a nationwide campaign on obstetric fistula, courtesy of UNFPA. Now onto a press release, because the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, GCCPC, is aware that some players in the essential commodities supply chain were involved in fraudulent extraction of up to 5 kilograms from the 50 kilograms bags of the rice, transporting them from stores to wholesale retail outlets across the country. The sale or purported sale of these underweight bags of rice, including the sale of any underweight bags of rice, including the sale of measuring products such as cement, onions, potatoes, meat, flour, sugar, oil and liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, etc., constitutes a flagrant breach of provisions of the Weights and Measures Act 1979, Sales of Goods Act 1979, and the Consumer Protection Act 2014. In this regard, businesses and persons are hereby warned to desist from market practices that are fraudulent, deceptive, or misleading. The Commission, in collaboration with the Gambia Police Force and Weights and Measures Bureaus, shall conduct further investigations into the matter, and any person, businesses found wanting shall be prosecuted in line with the Consumer Protection Act 2014. The Commission wishes to commend the Gambia Police Force and the Gambia Transport Union for their diligent efforts in detecting such deceitful and fraudulent practices, and calls for continued cooperations between institutions to protect consumers in an efficient and effective manner. The Commission further encourages persons who may have any information or complaints, classification, or aware of illegal suspicious conduct with respect to business practices to report such information to the Commission through this telephone number 5000033. The release ends. Now moving on, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, in partnership with ECOWAS Commission and other partners, organized a high-level ministerial and experts meeting on child protection in the Gambia. Janki Ture, who attended the opening ceremony in Kololi, filed in this report.
The high-level ministerial meeting, courtesy of Ministry of Gender, Children and Women's Affairs, in partnership with ECOWAS Commission and other partners, brought together experts in child protection domain to discuss ways to mainstream and harness the empowerment of children in West Africa. The project seeks to support ECOWAS and the government of the Gambia, Senegal, Mali, Guinea-Conakry, Guinea-Bissau and Niger to strengthen their child protection systems.
We are here today to run an evaluation of the experience of transnational collaboration in the fight against children trafficking, starting from the experience of PAPEV project. From here, together, we will discuss and identify priority action to be taken by the state to strengthening the normative and institutional framework to fight against child trafficking in West Africa.
Violence, abuse and exploitation of children in West Africa are tragic aspects of childhood. Surveys shows that the vast majority of children experience violent discipline. Reports have also shown that nearly 1 in 3 teenage girls have been beaten or hit since the ages of 15 and 1 in 10 raped or sexually abused. These officials lamented are challenges which needs to be addressed, thus the significance of the forum.
One of the key milestones of this expert meeting is to come out with a draft declaration on legal reform, the formulation of laws to facilitate the integration of child rights into policy formulation to be adopted by the ministers during the ministerial meeting to be held on the 26th of May 2022 at this very conference hall.
Honorable Dr. Siga Fatima Jain is the Commissioner for Social Affairs and Gender for ECOWAS Commission. Among the issues she raised was a revisiting of laws to safeguard the rights of children.
Children are the future of any society, and to safeguard the future and create the necessary conditions for the continuity of society and the entire human race, we must take good care of our children.
In the Gambia, the government is making significant efforts to fully meet minimum standards for the elimination of child trafficking. Bintu Fati, the Director of Child Protection, highlighted steps taken by the government to tackle issues of child abuse.
Government of the Gambia and its child protection partners have always showcased commitment towards the protection of children by ratifying both national and international child protection frameworks for the protection of children in the country. In line with the rest of the world, Gambia is developing its child protection and child justice system to meet standard requirements under international rules and conventions. One aspect of government's obligation is the protection of children, and the police remain the first point of contact for most children in conflict with the law.
The theme on the forum is assessment of experiences on transnational collaboration in the fight against child trafficking. It is expected that the 4-day conclave will discuss and identify priority actions that member states need to adopt, promote and strengthen policy and institutional framework on the fight against child trafficking in West Africa. Jean Keture, GRTS News.
And now, the Minister for Local Government, Lands and Religious Affairs has embarked on a nationwide familiarization tour. The delegation held a meeting in the community of Ngain Sanjal in the Sabak Sanjal district of the North Bank region. Famara Kanyi has more on that story.
Tens of women, men and youths stormed the village square in Ngain Sanjal to meet Honorable Sirif Abbas Sanyang, the Minister for Lands, Local Government and Religious Affairs, accompanied by heads of departments and his permanent secretary. In his address, Malik Boy, chief of the district, said Honorable Sanyang is the first local government minister to directly meet the people before he assumed office. Malik Boy also used the platform to call on all and sundry in his district to unite for the common good, as he pleaded on their behalf for government to subsidize the price of fertilizer to cater for the poor farmers in the regions. Speakers took turns to express their challenges, central among which is the need to expose women and youths of Sanjal to some available opportunities in the country. Among all our meetings, this is the most impressive in terms of turnout. Words of Lamin Sedikan, the governor of the North Bank region. He told the gathering that President Adama Barrow and his government will continue to support and strengthen all vital areas of the country's economy, primarily the agriculture sector. Buba Sanyang, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Local Government and Religious Affairs, said the recent increase in conflicts over alcalship, selection, land ownership, use and management are due to the failure of communities abiding by the laws of the Gambia. Politics and affiliations are now over. It is time for national development. My ministry will continue to work with you, and the government of the Gambia will also continue to support the welfare of every citizen in this country. Words of Honorable Sirif Abbas Sanyang, the Minister of Lands, Local Government and Religious Affairs, as he addresses tens of youths, men and women in Ngain Sanjal. The government under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow bought a good amount of fertilizer that could cater for even this season, but our very own sons and daughters, aided by some people in our societies, had illegally bought majority of the stock and furthermore transport them out of the Gambia to be sold to other countries for no other reason than monetary gains. This year, that same fertilizer is now coming back to us at a price of $2,500. We should all take the blame and work on our attitudes towards national development, Honorable Sanyang responded to farmers. However, he said efforts are underway to convince government to scale down the price of fertilizer to ensure affordability. Moving out of Ngain Sanjal at night, the convoy drove to the Central River region, where the minister paid respect to the affected families and victims of a recent clash that led to the burning of almost 2 compounds in the border settlement of Kermode Alley. For the news, I am Famara Kanyi.
Now, a local organization called Peace of Mind, the Gambia and Gamco Trap, with funding from UNFPA Peace Building Fund, are coordinating a 3-day training for 25 social and health workers on mental health and psychosocial support. As Khadija Jalo reports, the event is meant to equip service providers that will curb challenges hampering the management of mental health in the country.
A local organization called Peace of Mind Gambia, in collaboration with GAMCOTRAP, organized the 3-day forum to ensure stable and peaceful homes and communities mostly caused by sexual and gender-based violence. Hence the importance of the training on mental health and psychosocial support for service providers. Sylvia Lorenzi Jaune is the director, Peace of Mind Gambia.
Service providers face a lot of challenges on the ground due to the nature of your work and the nature of the cases that you are receiving. It is for this reason that we came up with this first module that is called self-awareness and interpersonal skills. The module is aimed to help participants to recognize their own feelings, their own emotions, and regulate them, and be able to tell when they themselves need professional help. This will improve your well-being and your mental health, and this will enhance that your performance will increase.
National Coordinator, Network Against Gender-Based Violence, Fallu Sow, and Mohamed Cisse of GAMCOTRAP respectively hailed Peace of Mind Gambia for the partnership against sexual and gender-based violence and its related negative effects of mental health and psychosocial problems.
Mental health has been a problem in the Gambia. I remember since I started working at the Department of Social Welfare in 1997. This is a gap that we have been struggling with, and we want to thank Peace of Mind and UNFPA for coming up with this great initiative to train personnel who would go back into the field and go back to their work environments to support people that have suffered sexual and gender-based violence or other social problems that might lead to mental health.
GAMCOTRAP is a non-governmental organization that has been actively engaged in promoting and protecting the rights of the most vulnerable factions in our society, women and children, especially girls. We pride ourselves with our ability to be able to register uncountable success stories throughout this journey. However, we would not have been able to register such success stories without the true partnership and collaboration of organizations and institutions who share similar visions with us.
A gender-based violence specialist at UNFPA, Joy Michelle, underscored her office's commitment to partner with government, NGOs, and institutions in protecting people's rights, as well as the promotion of peace among people and communities.
Mental health affects everything that concerns us as an individual. Very important because it affects both our emotional health and can decide on how we relate with others within our community. That's why maintaining a positive mental health and treating any mental health condition is crucial to stabilizing constructive behaviors, emotions, and thoughts. So for us on this project, we have decided that the best way to start, awareness can be created, but we need to ensure the availability of services. And one of the ways to ensure the availability of services is building capacity of service providers to provide quality services.
The 3-day training is expected to equip participants with the requisite knowledge in promoting holistic well-being for individuals and families in need by supporting prevention as well as recovery and improvement of resilience on mental health management. Khadijatu Jallow, reporting for GRTS News.
Now on capacity development, because almost 30 immigration officers on Monday started a 6-month training on information and communication management, a scheme that will serve as another milestone for improved quality service delivery and performance for the Gambia Immigration Department. Baba Sela reports.
Technology plays a crucial role in the contemporary world of information and communication, and its understanding has become a crucial element for institutional development, pushing organizations to raise staff capacity. Boosting ICT capacity is the primary objective of new technology firm Sutin, the Surwa Kamara Unified IT Institute and Nursery, which has been contracted to train immigration staff in effective communications.
Pursue this course will have a very limited interaction with your IT personnel to be able to tell them that, I cannot connect to a Wi-Fi network or my computer is not working. You should be able to do that for yourself after this course. You understand? Because you'll deal with networking, how things are interconnected, through Wi-Fi, through cabling and stuff like that. So at the end of this course, obviously, those who perform this course or who pursue this course definitely will be able to, there's going to be less pressure from you on your IT staffs, or people, who are looking for desktops.
The Commissioner of Finance, Usman Loh, delivered a statement on behalf of the Director General of Immigration, challenging participants to make best use of the training.
Selected from a big number to come on, partake in this noble program, and I urge you very, 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 very well to show a high degree of seriousness in this program. I would also like to disclose something here. Resources are not enough, it's limited. But I want to inform you here, performance with this program will determine the next entry to the next level.
Sutin IT Institute is a Gambian company built to transform the country's ICTs to embrace current advances in technology to set a definitive trajectory. The CEO of Sutin Institute explains.
I used to tell this to some of my students all the time. I said, there's this English philosopher who was born in England in 1588. His name is Thomas Hobbes. Those who did law will be able to know. He said, a man's life, he wrote a book called Leviathan. This is about the necessity of government in societies. He said, a man's life without government is solitary, nasty, brutish, short, and poor. The same could be attributed to IT of today. If without IT, obviously you will be solitary. It's just like a solitary confinement.
The manual to digital scheme is aimed at protecting national documents and borders, with officials hoping that the training will effectively boost the capacity of immigration staff in their line of duty. Baba Sila, GRTS.
Well, we will now take a short break, and when we return, sports news is up next. Stay with us.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Afro wishes to remind you that obstetric fistula can be prevented and in most cases can be treated. Obstetric fistula is a hole that forms between a woman's or a girl's birth canal and bladder or rectum, caused by prolonged obstructed labor without prompt medical help. As a result, the survivors of this injury leak urine and or feces uncontrollably through the vagina. About 2 million women and girls live with this injury in developing countries, including the Gambia.
As a cured fistula patient, I urge all affected women and girls to seek medical care as soon as possible so that, like me, you can also live a happy, healthy, and productive life. I also ask the government to provide us functional emergency obstetric services so that the lives of more women can be saved.
I call on all parents to discourage early marriages and pregnancies which contribute to obstetric fistula while promoting good nutrition and education.
Welcome back, and we now take a look at sports because the 2022 Kafuta Sports Development Association League final has ended in delight for Nema United as they clinched their first title in the history of the competition after beating Aston Villa Football Club on penalties following a stalemate 2-all draw. Now, Farmer Abaji witnessed the finals at the Kafuta football field, and he tells us more in this report.
This was a final played at one of the footballing communities in Combo East. Their passion for the game was evident. Aston Villa in red, Nema United in white, class in front of a fair crowd that included the Gambia's Minister for Youth and Sports, Bakari Bai. It was the second title shot for Aston Villa, while for Nema United, the fight was for a maiden title in the Kafuta region. Nema United have shown how desperate they were for the shot, as they dominated and took the lead after 19 minutes. Then Morojite capitalized on a lapse in concentration at the Villa's defense to send their supporters into celebration. That euphoria lasted for 13 minutes, as Aston Villa also took advantage of some defensive uncertainty at the Nema's back line. Hassan Ubaji fired home from a tight angle to make it 1-1 at halftime. From the restart, Nema United came close with a decent chance, but the outstanding Ibrahim Ajita was denied well by Aston Villa's Musa Diatta, and he was made to pay for that miss, as Aston Villa penetrated through the right with a counter-attack, and substitute Abdullah Jata headed home from Ato Jata's cross to make it 2-1 to Aston Villa. That was a delightful goal from a delightful counter-attack. Aston Villa had another opportunity to put the game beyond Nema United with only 4 minutes to go, but Ato Jata hurriedly hit wide with the goal at his mercy. From that moment, it appears a certain victory for Aston Villa until deep into stoppage time, when Nema United rallied late and were awarded a controversial equalizer when the referee George Kiba Dabo's attempt to have crossed the line. Nema United supporters rejoiced, and Aston Villa reacted angrily and bitterly protested against the decision, but the tie still goes into a penalty shootout.
And finally, that's the end of the game.
Aston Villa initially squandered 2 shots, which gave Nemas Mpanso Conte the chance to take what was supposed to be a winning penalty, and his shot was saved. But Aston Villa erred again, as Vincent Mendy squandered for Nema United to triumph 3-2 on penalties.
These people, I am very proud of them, because when I come to their to coach them, they tell me like, they just told me like I'm also born in the cabinet of Nema. So I'm proud of them. I am very happy that I'm the first person to give them trophy. And this is the first time that Kafuta has this type of sponsorship. All the past years, we always sponsor, do the sponsoring for ourselves. So this year, thanks be to God, Dabojula came and then he sponsored the tournament. So the organization has always been peaceful.
Among the invited dignitaries was the Minister for Youth and Sports.
Our impression is good. It's this is the typical community football, and then we've seen what the display has happened here. Pretty much, we've seen a lot of young people out, and the turnout is good. But the most important thing is sport is growing across the country, especially football, and these are the kind of initiative that we want. But that's football at the national level is developed at the grassroots, and this is typical of that.
Awards were presented to individuals and groups for their performance and contributions to making the tournament a success. Runners of Aston Villa were awarded a consolation of $25,000, while for the champions Nema United, it's a trophy and cash prize of $35,000. CRTS News.
Well, interesting football match there. And viewers, this now brings us to the end of this bulletin. But before we take leave of you, here is a quick look at our top stories once again. The Gambian leader, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, met the ambassador of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Ma Jianchun, at the State House in Banjul. The Vice President, His Excellency Aliou Badara Diouf, has granted audience to the Secretary General of the Organization of Educational Cooperation, Mansour bin Musalam. Plus, the Gambia is hosting the 3rd African Continental Conference on Curriculum Content Alignment. In sports, the 2022 Kafuta Sports Development Association League finals ended in delight for Nema United as they clinched their first title in the history of the competition. In the international front, France's newly appointed Minister for Solidarity and the Disabled, Mr. Damien Abad, has strongly denied he had raped 2 women following accusations published by the Mediapart website in an article based on interviews with the women. And viewers, that was all we have for you in this edition of the 8 p.m. news. Join us again at 10 p.m. for more news and updates. And in the meantime, please listen to GRTS TV for more interesting programs here on GRTS TV. It's bye for now.